YouTube, welcome to Victory Team TV's first video where we're touring practice facilities for some of the greatest facilities in all of Australia. Today, we're here at Adelaide Oval at the South Australia Cricket Association, home of the Strikers, the Scorpions and the Redbacks. Stay tuned to the end of the video to find out how you can win these Peter Siddle sunglasses and this Strikers jersey. Let's have a look. So now we're here in the gym at the South Australia Cricket Association. I'm here with Stephen. Nice to meet you.
You too.
So Stephen, tell me about your role here.
Yeah, well, I'm the physical performance manager. Awesome. So I oversee all the fitness for the team and the other teams that are around the place.
Yeah.
But my main responsibility is looking after the Redback squad and then the big deal and the Striker squad. They're my two main responsibilities.
Awesome. So tell me about any other teams that would come and use this gym.
Yeah, so we've got our Scorpions,
Yep.
which is our female team. They're a professional team. We've got our Strikers, which are our women's Strikers.
Yep.
Again, that's the women's version of the BBL. And then we've got all our pathway squads. So we've got for the girls, we've got under 16s and under 19s, and for the boys, we've got under 17s and under 19s.
Yep.
And then a few other junior squads that come in and around, but they're the main ones that come and access the gym.
Awesome. So how long have you been here?
This is my 8th season.
8th season.
Yeah.
Awesome. So who are some of the biggest characters you've seen in the gym over those 8 seasons?
Yeah, we've had a lot of characters. Probably there's a guy not here anymore, a guy called Cameron Valenti.
Okay.
He still plays in local cricket and has been around the place for a long time. He was always probably the most entertaining guy.
Yeah.
Of the current crop, probably people like Harry Conway. He's always quite a humorous sort of guy to have around the place. But there's a number of them, but I'd love to probably to pick on.
Yeah, definitely. And so I'm looking around, I can see Nuggets Way here. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
So Nuggets Way is after a guy called Barry Nugget Reese, and Nuggets is his nickname. And he's been part of the South Australian Cricket Association for a very long time. So, and he's like a supporter, and given the way that Nugget has supported the team over a long journey, we thought as a team that we'd have our values named after him. So Nuggets Way is the values of the team.
Yeah.
So they've got 3 or 4 different values that the team refers back to regularly in part of their training and games. And they're named after Nugget, Barry Nugget Reese. So that's
amazing.
Yeah. So he still comes to our games and he's around the place a fair bit, so he's great to have around the place. He's like a bit of an inspirational leader for our organisation.
That's great. Okay, awesome. So tell me about the type of equipment we have here for the players.
So this is our gym, and it's had a bit of an evolution since I've been here. Things have changed in regards to the way we train and what we need. And because this place was built maybe 10 or so years ago, the organisation in regards to particularly in regards to women's cricket has grown so much in that time.
Definitely.
So probably the space is not really big enough now because we have so many more teams that are involved. And particularly, I said, in the women's space, so it's making it a bit more challenging. So we're really selective about what we have in here. So, a lot of equipment we had in the past that we don't use as much of, we're trying to get rid of just to create space so the players can train without too much mucking around. So a lot of it's not a lot of machines, it's mainly about functional weights and trying to make it specific to cricket.
Perfect. So you said specific to cricket. Tell me about the type of training that you would do on a weekly basis to train the cricket players.
Yeah, well, this week's a good example because we're just coming off a big bash and we're preparing for our first game on Friday. So most of our players play in the local cricket comp, the great cricket comp on the weekends. So they play sometimes some of them play Sunday. On Monday we had a recovery session.
Yep.
We went over to the next generation facility, the gym across the road, so we did all outside. Did a recovery session there. Came back and did a gym session here, so everyone in here doing the gym. And then today we had just meetings, so it's just a planning day. And then tomorrow we have main training sessions, so we'll be out in Adelaide number 2, which you might go and look at.
Yep.
And we'll be in the nets there for it'll be quite a long session. That's our main training of the day, or the week. Thursday we'll have another skill session, it'll be a lighter one, in preparation for playing on Friday.
Okay.
So that's like a typical week where you're sort of building up in preparation for playing games every week.
Yeah. Awesome. So tell me about how big the gym is.
I'm not 100% sure what square footage. It's probably about 20 metres by 10, so it's at 200 square metres. And it's a great facility. It's just, as I said, it's probably like a bit bigger, but we make do what we've got. It's pretty good in regards to cricket around Australia. This is a pretty good facility to have.
Yeah, definitely. It looks great. And also tell me how many players you have in here at once training?
Yeah, that's always a challenge because we've got 28 players in our squad at all here. We've got a few guys away on the Australian team, and so that lessens our load a little bit. But generally speaking, we have probably 13 or 14 here at a time, so we've split the group. If we had a full squad available, we'll probably split it into two different time slots.
Yeah.
So probably 13 or 14 we actually have here at a time.
Awesome. And tell me about working with Gillespie.
Jason Gillespie? Yeah, well, I've been working with Dizzy for, when I first started, he was just a strikers coach, he wasn't coaching the Redbacks. So I got to work with him right from the go. And I didn't know Jason at that stage. We've still worked together for the last 7 or 8 years. So I love working with him. He's a pretty laid back sort of guy, very casual, and pretty easy to get on with. And then 2 or 3 years ago, he came on board as a Redbacks coach, so we worked with him all year round. So yeah, great guy to work with.
Awesome. Now, show us the space that talk to us about the space that we're in now, Stephen.
Yeah, this is the indoor, cricket facility, I suppose. We've got 8 nets there, and so this is used predominantly in the winter when you can't get outside on turf wickets. So all through our pre-season for not just the Redbacks, but all our squads will use this facility, and a lot of other facilities, other clubs from outside, whether they be Premier Grade cricket or a range of different organisations use it for their training. And it's just a great alternative when the weather's inclement and you can't get outside on turf wickets.
Yeah, definitely. So tell me about, so every squad would be in here at once?
At various stages, we always, and sometimes in way to be inclement weather, particularly if people want to use the ball machines or stuff like that, so where you get a lot more repetition than you would out in the nets.
Definitely.
So that's when that's used during the season. So players will come in off their own accord and use it because you don't need anyone feeding balls. The balls can automatically feed to them. So it's used a fair bit during the course of the season, but particularly during the winter.
Yeah. So you mentioned the ball machine. Tell me about some of the technology used for the nets.
Yeah, well, the obvious one is the ball machines. You can put it at whatever speed, and you can have it to swing or to or how short you want it to pitch the ball, how full you want to pitch it.
Yeah.
They've got another ball machine there, which is a spin ball machine, so you can put different types of spin on the ball.
Okay.
And then you've got the TV monitors there, which give you like on a delay, and they give you feedback of you can see yourself after every ball and how you're batting.
That's very cool.
So it's a great facility to have.
Yeah. So tell me about some of the most talented bowlers you've seen.
Yeah. Well, probably the most talented bowlers we had. A few years ago, we had some guys that were pretty well greats of South Australian cricket, like Chad Sayers and Joe Manny. They claimed over nearly 300 wickets each.
Wow.
And they've had really long careers, and they've been the mainstay of SA cricket in the bowling ranks for a long while now. But now we've got a new crop coming through. People like Brendan Doggett and Wes Agar. Another young guy called Jordan Buckingham. So we've got a number of new guys coming through. So it's like the new changing of the guard away from these old guys who retired a few years ago, and we've got some younger fellas coming through.
Yeah, and then tell me about the batting side of that.
In regards to the best ones to come through.
Yeah.
Well, probably the best one who's achieved the most is Travis Head, who's obviously played for Australia and been now a regular part of the Australian team. So he's probably the most successful player that's come through. But we had a lot of other greats. A guy called Callum Ferguson played a lot for South Australia, played for Australia. He played a lot of cricket for the Redbacks and has been a great of the state. So he'd be one of the other standout players that I've been privileged to work with.
Yeah, awesome. And last question, are you very, very excited that Redback season's back?
Yeah, very much so. Like we're in the one-day competition. We're in a challenging position. So we're still in the mix to play in the final, and we're not out of it in the Sheffield Shield. So there's a lot of hope for the last part of the season. It's only another 6-7 weeks of the season to go, so it will go pretty quickly. But we're really looking forward to our first game on Friday against WA.
Yeah.
So hopefully we can get off to a good start and keep the ball rolling.
Awesome. Thank you so much for taking the time, Miss Stephen.
Yeah, nice
awesome.
To meet you.
Now we're here on the South Australia Cricket Association practice oval, which includes the oval itself for cricket, and we've also got our outdoor nets. Now these outdoor nets are predominantly used in the summertime, whereas the indoor nets that we had a look at, they're for the winter time more, as Stephen said. Now we're here in the South Australia Cricket Association Avenue of Honour, where there's posters and sculptures of greats like George Gibbon and the strikers and Redbacks head coach Jason Gillespie. Now Sanka and I are here in the Redbacks meeting room, right next to the Strikers meeting room. So Sanka, tell me, is this more of a management meeting room or is it like a team meeting room?
I think it's a bit of both, but more like predominantly used for management.
Yeah.
So we've got staff meetings here, and then like for high performance staff, they pretty much bring one player meetings after the season, do one-on-one meetings in here as well. So I think predominantly it's more a staff meeting room.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. So this wall behind you has many great moments on it. Tell me about your favourite.
A few, there's obviously a few news just down here, and that's a good memory. And then obviously just up there was Sheffield Shield win. There's a few up there who's all, still involved with cricket and just in Saka as well. There's Dizzy Gillespie, the head coach of the Strikers and Redbacks. Jamie Simmons, who was a former Redbacks coach. Dan Lehman, who was a former Australian great, and then obviously the national team coach as well. We've got Sid Nielsen, who was the general manager for high performance, Greg Blewett, and there's quite a few other prominent faces up there as well who are still involved with the game and also in Saka. So it's a pretty good memory. Even though I wasn't a part of it, but yeah, it seems like a pretty good time.
Yeah. Okay, so thank you so much for letting us tour the amazing facility,
right.
Sanka.
Pleasure.
Thank you for setting it all up. Awesome. Thank you for everything.
My pleasure.
Thank you guys so much for watching our first episode of the Victory Team TV practice facility tours. The South Australia Cricket Association have some facilities that are absolutely second to none, and we were so happy to have a look at them. So we'd like to thank everyone who helped us get here, as well as Stephen and Sanka for helping us today. It was awesome. And for those wondering about the giveaway, including this amazing jersey and these Peter Siddles, stay tuned. To win some of this Adelaide Strikers merch pack, you need to follow the Adelaide Strikers, the West End Redbacks, and the South Australia Scorpions on Instagram. Also subscribe to Victory Team TV and leave a comment saying done. Awesome. Good luck.